Editing videos is like being a master chef. You need to know how to combine all the right ingredients to create something truly delicious. In this video I will teach you how to use cuts, colors, sound and more in your edits to craft stories that leave your viewers hungry for more. Oh, it's about video editing, not about food, right? An important technique to tell better stories while you edit your videos is to cut for emotion. For example, I just cut the last sequence very fast to convey an emotion of urgency, and now I keep the pacing a bit slower because that allows you to listen to my voice better, but I could also use the slower pacing to emphasize something at the end of the fast-paced sequence that's somehow important for the story and should therefore get more attention. Fast edits are also good for other emotions such as adventure or being motivated to do something, and slow edits are generally good to emphasize certain points, but also to raise tension and make people curious about what's coming next, while medium pacing is good to just follow along. So while you edit your videos, don't just think about cutting to the beat of your music, but also think about how it affects the story and the feeling of your video. We'll also talk a bit more about music and sound later in this tutorial, so keep watching. What is that? Okay, let's go. And we're coming directly to our next video editing tip for better storytelling, which is using visual cues to convey meaning. Visual cues can be text overlays, graphics or symbols to help convey important information or themes in your story. For example, you could use a messaging animation like I just did to show a conversation with your friend. Especially with short form content, it can be hard to tell a story with only camera shots, so visual cues are a great and engaging way to do that. And even in my long form content, I find visual cues very helpful, because why should I waste a lot of time giving the viewer certain information if I can also do it quicker? It's just more engaging overall and leads to better audience retention. Now, you might be scared that you would have to create all those animations and graphics etc. by yourself, but don't worry, there are many platforms out there where you can just download all of those assets, and one of those platforms is our today's sponsor, Artlist.io, which recently completely changed their platform. It's really great now, and they offer you all those animations, video templates, plugins etc., everything that you need. But I want to come back to Artlist a bit later in this video, because there is a lot more that they have to offer that I want to show you. Man, look at this shot. I will 100% use it in my next video.
No, you won't, man.
Well, why would you say that?
Because that's your next tip.
Oh yeah, my next tip is kill your darlings. And no, that does not mean that you should actually kill your darling. That would make a good story, but not to anyone's advantage. It does mean that you should get rid of the shots that you love but don't fit your story. I think we all have it sometimes, that we got a shot that we really love and we would really love to show that to others, but the reality is just that it doesn't fit into your video, it does not fit the story, and then the only right thing to do is to not use it. Of course, you should also not delete such videos, because there is still the option to use it on Instagram as reels or stories, and you can also eventually put some of those shots together later as a show reel to show off if you want to advance your career a bit. But the only right way for now is to remove it from your timeline and not use it in your video. Remember, less is more. But I want to use it.
No, you can't.
No, I want to use it.
No.
Okay, then f you, I go home.
What?
A big mistake I've made when I started making videos was to choose the music only based on what I like instead of what makes sense for each scene. And that's my next tip: choose music wisely. If you keep attention to the music when you watch videos and movies, you will notice that the music and background sounds play a huge role when it comes to creating the emotions that are important to tell your story. And you can actually test that by yourself. To do so, just get any shot that you captured recently, put some happy music under it first, and then change the music to something dramatic or suspenseful. And as you can see or hear, it completely changes the mood without doing any changes to your actual video. What you see is exactly the same. So really think about how the viewer should feel like at certain parts of your video and choose the music accordingly. And to make that easier for you, you can actually sort the music tracks in folders named by certain moods. I, for example, have a folder that I call Suspense, and I often use the tracks in there in the beginning of my videos to make the viewer curious about what's happening next. What's that now? Bro, what's up? What, there's a white shark in the lake? It's bullshit, man. They like salt water. If there's really a white shark in the lake, then show me. Don't just tell it. Like, send me some footage. Wow, there's actually a white shark. Ah, I get it. You just want to transition to the next tip again, right? Probably one of the most important lessons to learn is to show and not tell. And you should really take that in word by word. Show, don't tell, because that literally means that you should show stuff and not talk about it at all whenever you can. Of course, that's not always possible. Sometimes you need to give context by using a voiceover, or there's nothing really to show, so you use A-roll. But the more you can just show something so that the viewer understands it without having to say anything, the better it is. And that's something that you should not only think about in the edit, but if possible already before you even shoot the video. But there's also the problem that you probably don't always have the footage necessary to show something, and that is where our today's sponsor Artlist comes into play. Artlist previously had two platforms, Artlist for music and sound effects and Artgrid for stock video footage. What is great if you need footage to use in your videos, and now they joined both platforms plus a lot more under one subscription. So with just one subscription you get some of the best music, sound effects, stock footage, video templates and animations, LUTs, plugins, and even a full editing app called HitFilm, which is actually pretty decent for beginners. So no matter what you need, you have everything in one place. I especially love the stock footage that you get on their platform because it has a super cinematic quality. It's even available in log, and there are not just single clips available as it is on other platforms, but instead you always find multiple clips that fit together, so you can build actual sequences with their stock footage when you edit your videos. And I use their stock footage, for example, in the cooking sequence at the beginning of this video, but also for the white shark, obviously. And they offer so much more, like this burning car, for example. I mean, who doesn't want a burning car in his videos without sacrificing his own, right? And details and animations that are available under templates are only available for Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere as of now, so I didn't test them yet because I'm a Resolve user, but what I see for these apps looks very promising, and I'm sure they will add some for DaVinci Resolve soon because everyone is switching now, and I'm looking forward to that. So check out artlist.io, lots of great stuff there. I will leave a link to them in the description below. And talking about Artlist, let's come to storytelling through sound effects. You probably know sound effects already to let the viewer hear what he sees, but when it comes to storytelling, this is not what I mean. Storytelling through sound effects means using them to enhance the emotions and themes of your story. A good example is my recent Komodo Island video where I fell from the stairs on a boat, which I did not have on video, so I just combined a jump cut to black with a hit sound effect to let people feel that something bad happened. However, I was super excited to show the photo to Gal, so I rushed down the stairs, fell down and injured my leg. It looked pretty bad, so much that I thought I couldn't do the hike the next morning. So to tell better stories with sound effects, don't just think about what you see that the viewer could hear, but also think about what he doesn't see that you could add via sound, and also what feelings he should have at certain points. The kind of sound effects that are really important for storytelling are especially risers, hits, drones, atmosphere, and tension building sound effects such as heartbeats, ticks, etc. I will add a list of those sound effects in the description below, so you can just copy the list and search a bit on Artlist or other platforms to find the right sound effects. More complicated than adding sound effects seems to be the use of color grading to actually tell stories instead of only making your shots look good, and it definitely takes some time to learn, but that's something that can greatly enhance your videos. So here are two examples of how I used color grading to tell better stories in some some of my videos. You can at first use color gradings to set the mood of certain scenes. For example, in my recent FPV guide, I had a scene where I was without a drone for a while, so I wanted to make the scene look quite depressing. Therefore, I simply adjusted the temperature of the shots to make them look cooler, and I made them also quite dark, so it overall looked very moody. And then at the point where an exciting drone came out, I keyframed my color grade to shift the colors from cold to warm, and it was actually very easy and fast to do, but it had a big impact. My second example is also from my Komodo Island video, where I needed a shot to go from entering an island before sunrise up to a mountain, and there I only had one good drone shot for that, which was shot after sunrise, so the colors didn't fit at all, but luckily I was able to make the shot darker and adjust the colors to make the shot look like it was shot before sunrise, and it actually fits very well. It was definitely a bit more complicated, it took me a bit of time to make it happen, but I'm very happy with the result. So definitely learn color grading, because LUTs can't do that. LUTs can make your videos look better or even good, but they can't tell stories, and that's why there's really no way around learning color grading, even if it might be a bit challenging at the beginning. So as you can see, there's a lot you can do in the edits to tell better stories, but storytelling becomes even easier if you plan your videos beforehand. And to learn how to do that, check out my other video here in the corner, there you will learn more. And I also have a full online course about storytelling for YouTube, which I will leave in the description below, so check it out as well, and I hope to see you soon.